Hello my friends and welcome back to another Brotato Danger 5 guide. Hope you're all doing well. Today I'm going to show you a very simple way to get a win with the Fisherman. This is one of the characters I still see a lot of people having trouble with. It's probably the hardest character in the game, and it requires a lot of game knowledge, because you need to know how many baits you can get away with buying each wave without dying to the lampreys that spawn from them. So it requires you to just have practiced the run and know a lot about the run before you play, a lot of the time. I've shown a few ways to win with this character, using spears, using rocks, even using torches and slingshots. But today I'm going to show you a way that is a lot more straightforward, because you can just follow a very simple rule for how many baits you're buying every wave. And because it doesn't involve fancy dodging, you don't need to be particularly good at the movement in order to win. So the weapon we're going to use here is the Spiky shield. And we're just going to get tanky enough that the lamprey enemies cannot hurt us. So in this first wave, of course, we want to kill all the enemies. We're hoping for a tree to spawn because the Fisherman has 50% material drops from enemies, but trees still give you the full amount. So if a tree had spawned there, we'd have ended up with quite a bit more money. We're going to roll here. We're looking for armor or regeneration, and I'll take armor over regen. Those are the two stats that we care about. We're going to go ahead and buy the bait here, and then we'll ban Ugly Tooth, and then we're going to roll. We'll buy a Spiky shield and a bait. We'll lock this tree, because it's a good economy item, and we're going to roll again, and I'm looking for another Spiky shield. In the first 5 waves, we're going to buy 2 baits every wave, and then every wave thereafter, we're going to buy 3 baits. So here, we just want as many shields as we can get, plus 2 baits. And when the lampreys spawn, we're going to stay near the middle of them, and we're going to use the invulnerability frames that you get when you take damage in order to not die. So I kind of messed up the movement there a little bit. I needed to run at them a little bit more aggressively even. So I'll have to dodge this last one here, but that shouldn't be too difficult. But basically, the way that the game works is when you take damage, you become invincible for a fraction of a second thereafter. So when all the lampreys spawn around you, you can stack them up on top of you, run directly at them, and even if you take damage from them, you'll only take that damage one at a time. And you should have enough survivability that you can tank a few hits from the lampreys and kill them all before those invulnerability frames run out. So we're just going to get tanky enough, we'll run right at them, and we'll use our stats to just overpower them. Here I'm going to roll again, and I am looking for armor or regen. We missed twice, so we'll just take some luck. Luck is also good because consumable healing is a pretty important component of our healing as well. We've got 5 spiky shields and 4 baits. That's totally fine. And then we're going to roll here, and we'll lock our 6th spiky shield, which is exactly what we wanted to do. And then again, as they spawn, we're running at them, and we're going to use our invuln frames to kill them while only taking a few hits. This is also why having low movement speed from the blunt weapon tag with Spiky Shield mostly doesn't matter. And because our damage scales off of armor with this weapon, as well as the percent damage that we're getting from the baits, we don't have to worry about buying any damage stats. We can just focus purely on defensive stats. So here we'll just take 2 regeneration, we'll buy our Spiky Shield, we'll buy a tree and 1 bait. We're going to ban Claw Tree. It gives us melee damage and reduces our health, so it's not something that we care about. And then we'll roll, buy a second bait here, and roll again. And then we'll buy a Spiky Shield, ban this snake. I'm going to roll again for 4, because I'd like to lock a shield if I can, so we'll roll a couple times to try to lock another shield. We'll ban this Gummy Berserker and re-roll. Feather, I'm actually going to lock and buy. This character also wants to build dodge, and we need to start doing that early. We don't really care about losing the XP gain. It's 3% is just such a small amount, it doesn't matter. And again, run right at the enemies, use our invulnerability frames to tank through the initial burst damage, and then as we get a little more regen, it'll be safer. I did kind of a bad demo on the first wave, but this wave went basically how it should pretty much always go, where you can just run at the enemies and not worry about what they're doing. The other important thing is if you have the Abyssal Terrors expansion, you want to avoid killing the curse aliens. We don't want cursed lampreys to spawn because they're really dangerous. They do a lot more damage, and it can be harder to tank through them, even with high armor, if a lot of cursed enemies are spawning. So we're going to avoid killing the curse aliens. We'll take 2 armor here. We will buy our feather, bait, and spiky shield, and then we'll roll, buy a second bait. And then, again, this is wave 4, so we're only buying 2 baits, and then we're gonna buy another spiky shield. I'll take a whistle, and we'll go ahead and ban the fuel tank. We don't care about this item at all. And then I'll re-roll to try to lock another spiky shield, and we got a tree as well. We want to upgrade our weapons as quickly as possible. The damage scaling from armor goes up, so it's really important to upgrade your spiky shields. You can buy 3 baits on some of those waves if you want. We could, because we're a little ahead of the curve, we could have started buying 3 baits earlier, but the way to ensure that you get this win is to just follow the rule. 2 every wave up until wave 5, and then 3 every wave thereafter. I will want a little movement speed. Our ability to kill trees, and we do have a couple tree items, is suffering because we are a little behind on move speed. But again, we're just looking for armor or regen, though I will take attack speed as well. Attack speed is pretty important for this character. Now we're going to buy these items, and we'll buy a bait, and then we'll roll, and we'll buy a bait, and we'll lock this. And I'm going to buy a 3rd bait now, because we are going into wave 6. Small magazine, I'm going to leave in the pool. Attack speed is good. We don't care about losing percentage damage, because we get basically infinite % damage for free from our baits. So we don't need to worry about that. Duct tape, of course, we want, because we want all the armor we can get, and let's go to the next wave here. So wave 6, we've bought 3 baits, so there's a few more lampreys spawning, actually a bunch more lampreys spawning, but again, run at them, use your invulnerability frames, and you can just tank through what they're doing. Go ahead and pick up some healing. Because I bought the cauldron, I don't have any regeneration right now, but often at this point you'll have a little more regen and can slowly recover the health, the damage that you took in the initial volley of enemies. But you should have enough tankiness that it's not a problem even if you don't have any regeneration at this point. Gonna run up here and kill this tree as well. So you'll notice we have less money than you would normally at this point in the game. You usually expect about 180 or so on Wave 6 on the Abyss map, or about 200 on Crash Zone, because there's more income on Crash Zone. But because we are the Fisherman, even though we have lower money, our stats are way higher. You can see how much % damage we have because we buy 8% damage for 1 material. So these materials go way further than they would for another character. Here, I'm going to reroll. I think we can do a little better than this, and we'll take 2 regeneration. And then this is a perfect shop for us, so we're going to buy the whole thing, take our free reroll. Consumable heal is really important for this character as well, so we're very happy to see that. We'll buy a spiky shield. I'm going to lock these 2 items. Oops. Lock these 2 items. I actually do want lifesteal as well. Regen is a little better, but you just want both healing stats. And then we're going to roll, and we'll buy our 3rd bait here. And again, oops, didn't need to walk into that last attack or the last attack there, but again, just run at the enemies, tank through their damage, and you should be just fine. So you can see here that even though I am not moving very well, I'm not doing a great job dodging or anything, and it's difficult with lower movement speed. We will want to fix our movement speed, so I stopped taking quite as much random chip damage. But even though I'm doing a bad job mechanically, the strategy is sound enough that you don't actually need to have great movement in order to avoid dying here. So, you know, me messing up all my dodging is for teaching purposes, really, if you think about it. So here I will just go ahead and recycle this bait, because we buy it for 1 material, and it recycles for 12, so it's profitable for us to just recycle here rather than pick it up. I'll take 2 lifesteal. I do want more healing, and then my max HP is pretty low, so I'll take the 6 HP here as well. So our first bait, and then we're going to buy some more lifesteal and another lemonade. More luck would be really nice to go with this consumable heal. Buy another bait. Here's our luck, so we'll buy the shady potion. And I don't care about knockback, so we're going to ban the boxing glove. I think I'm going to ban padding just to get a free reroll here. It's an okay item for us, but not great, and just being able to ban it, prevent it from showing up again, and get a free reroll is worth a lot. So again, we will buy another bait here, we'll lock a spiky shield and a lucky charm. Sunken Bell is not really worth it, and we've already bought our 3 baits, so no need to reroll. We're just going straight to the next wave here. Staying near the middle, and then we stack all the enemies up, use our invuln frames to take them out without taking any meaningful damage in return. So, by the way, the mistake that I have been making, just out of habit, is I've been moving away from the center of the map before the lampreys spawn. With this build, you want to stay in the center, so they all stack on top of you, and you get the maximum use out of your iframes. Since they spawn in a rough circle around you. I usually start moving right as the wave starts, but that's actually an error that I have been making during this run so far. Triangle of Power, of course, we're going to get rid of. I'm not going to bother banning it because level 3 items are not that key to the character, so we'd rather save our ban for a level 1 item, probably, but let's go ahead and recycle Triangle of Power. We always are taking a ton of damage, so you don't want Triangle of Power, even though it gives armor, which is pretty useful. Here I'm going to roll. I would like regen. The luck would be nice as well, but we've got a bunch of luck locked in the shop. But I would like regen, armor, or dodge, but we're just going to take armor. When you're playing a spiky shield build, just buy armor every time. I'm going to go ahead and buy this, buy our first of 3 baits, so that's 1. Here I'm just going to ban for the free reroll again. I know I said banning level 3 items wasn't that important, but this is just because it gives us a free reroll. Then we can buy this plant, and we can buy bait number 2, and the baby gecko I'm going to pass on. I'm just going to roll here, and we'll buy another bait, and we'll lock a bag. Although my dodge is something that I do want to boost, I am going to buy the acid here. It's not amazing for this character, but my max HP is pretty bad, and I do want to boost that, so if we find a good max HP upgrade... Oh, I moved out of the center again. Slightly sloppy there. If we do find a good max HP upgrade, then I will not buy the acid, like if we get a max HP item. But if we don't, then I just want to get to 50 or so HP pretty soon. On this wave, we're trying to avoid too many of the hatters staying alive and too many eggs spawning. Although our defensive stats are high enough, we don't care that much what the enemies are doing, but in general, we'd rather keep the amount of damage on the field lower. There will be a lot of lampreys spawning in the later stages of the wave, so you do need to be careful about that. So just keeping your health high and making sure there aren't too many enemies is pretty good. When it shows up for free in a box like this, I'll take the glasses. The extra range is okay for this character. I wouldn't buy that item at full price, but when it shows up for free for 11 materials, I think it's fine. We'll take the Scar here. Lure obviously is great. And Spiky Shield does crit for 2x damage, so we'll take the Insanity. Losing percent damage when we have 157 is obviously not a big deal. And the crit chance can be pretty good, especially against elites. Then we're going to take 9 dodge there. We do want to keep boosting our dodge, and we'll buy out this whole shop. This is our first of 3 baits. Then we're buying another one. We'll buy the Peaceful Bee as well, increasing our dodge again, and we'll reroll, and we'll buy another bait, and another Spiky Shield, and go to the next wave. And you can see it's just very clean. Move away from the middle and run back, because I always forget. It's very clean each wave. You just do the same thing. You can see there moving away from the middle did hurt me. I took extra damage because of doing that. Run over here and get this loot alien kill. We got two. We bought lure and got 2 loot aliens spawning very early in the wave. So there's a very good chance we get another random loot alien spawn later on. So I'm keeping an eye out for another one spawning. It would either spawn with 15 seconds left in the wave or 5 seconds left in the wave because of how the spawn timers work for the loot aliens. So it's worth keeping an eye out for that because we got those 2 spawning really early. And again, I'm avoiding killing the curse aliens. I'm not breaking the blobfish there. We just want to make certain that we are not getting curse, because if you get too much curse, then a bunch of the lampreys that spawn will be cursed, and that's where you can start being in a lot of danger. I'm gonna go ahead and recycle this lighthouse. We're not building any engineering. Same with the turret. And then here, 2 more armor. We'll take 15% attack speed. That's really nice as well. We will upgrade our spiky shield. We'll buy the bait. Chameleon, 150 for 3% dodge is pretty bad. 130 for 10% attack speed also isn't great, but I think is worth taking. And since I did that, do I want to buy the chameleon? It's very inefficient, but dodge is very valuable. And once you start building dodge, each future point of dodge becomes stronger. And we would get a free reroll. I think it's still not worth it, but it's close. So I've bought 1 bait already, so I'll buy 1 more. Bowler hat, I do want the luck here, and I will buy it. Knot would also be pretty good. We don't really care that much now that our weapons are reasonable levels, but I think I will pass on that. We'll buy our 3rd bait here, and then I'm going to re-roll again. Nothing here that I want, so let's go to the next wave. So I'm looking for a move speed item. So you can see here, that time I stayed near enough to the middle that they just all stacked on top of me, and we were able to use our iframes to just survive. It's tempting when you live through a volley of 3 baits like that, while taking very little damage. It's very tempting to just start buying 4, start buying 5, etc. But just, you know, stay strong, stay disciplined. The goal isn't to be as strong as possible after winning the game. The goal is to win the game. So you want to make sure that you take exactly enough risks to get to the level of strength that you need in order to succeed. And you don't need to take any more risks than that. Fruit basket is going to be very good. That's going to be a lot of healing. We've ended up with a little bit lower healing than I usually would prefer at this point, so having extra consumables will be nice. The 9 speed upgrade is really good here as well, because our move speed was really bad. This is a horde wave, so we can still buy baits. We will avoid buying them on elite waves, but on horde waves it doesn't matter. Pearl, I'm going to pass on. The percent damage is just not that relevant. So even though I love that item, it's not particularly good here. And Fishhook, we're also going to pass on. It's more dangerous to get curse for this character than the Fishhook is worth. Even if we get good cursed items, it's just too dangerous to have cursed enemies start showing up. So we don't need to buy Fishhook. This is our 3rd bait. We'll buy a weird food, and I'll do 1 more reroll here. We'll buy the butterfly as well for some additional lifesteal. Mirror and pile of books, I'm going to pass on both of those. We don't need them. Again, let the enemies stack on top of me. Use my iframes to survive. The fruit basket is pretty nice, given that we have pretty high consumable heal, so we're very happy to have that and high luck. You do have to be a little careful on horde waves with the Fisherman. Okay, I need to stay clear of that blobfish, because, again, I don't want to build curse. killing those trees. Okay, so I did spawn a curse alien there, and some extra lampreys, which obviously, the extra 4 lampreys aren't that big a deal, because we are set up to kill lampreys, so that shouldn't be too much of a challenge for us. But the curse alien puts kind of a booby trap on the battlefield, because I don't want to accidentally kill it. Losing our 2 regen does hurt, but Poisonous Tonic is still worth buying. Here I'm going to take 9 dodge, and then Adrenaline. This is another good way for us to heal, as is Cute Monkey. Even with 50% reduced material drops from enemies, the Cute Monkey will still be good. We'll buy our second bait, we'll take Blood Leech, and we'll buy the cake as well. Do a reroll, buy the last bait here, and then we'll lock the coupon. Campfire I'm also going to buy. We want all the regeneration that we can get. And although this has been a low regen version of the run, really important to start boosting that, especially as we go into the elite waves. This wave is a little more dangerous too, because those buffing aliens, as you saw, make the lampreys pretty tough to kill. So we want to take those guys down. Okay, so I did kill 1 blobfish. Now, it's obviously not the end of the world if we get 1 or 2 points of curse. I'm not gonna... You know, that will not be too bad or anything. But we are striving to avoid getting curse, so... The later we can delay accidentally picking up curse, because it'll probably happen at some point, the better. And a recycle sharp bullet, it doesn't do anything for us. We'll take 2 more armor here. We'll go ahead and buy the coupon and campfire, and then this wave we're not buying any bait because we want to be able to kill the elite quickly without having to worry about lampreys being around. Baby elephant we're going to pass on, even though it looks pretty good for damage output. Compare it to the damage that our weapons do, and you can see why we're just not that interested. We'll go ahead and buy a spiky shield for sure. Another bowler hat. I do want additional luck, but I think we're going to focus just more on defensive stats, and we'll buy this whetstone as well. The lifesteal will help us survive against the elite. Alright, so the elite spawns, we run at it, and we want to kill it pretty quickly because as more lampreys start spawning later in this wave, we want the elite dead first so that we don't have to deal with them, because even though we didn't buy any, so we don't have to deal with them at the same time as we're fighting it. Even though we didn't buy any baits this wave, the Fisherman will still spawn additional lampreys based on the number of baits you've purchased. And you can see here that because we have been following our system, we have enough damage that we 1 or 2 shot these groups of lampreys as soon as they spawn, and that prevents them from ever being too dangerous. And we have enough damage that we were able to kill the elite really fast before those enemies started spawning, so we just didn't have to care about any of the enemies or what they're doing, which is the goal, of course, when you're playing a tanking build like this. Obviously, we're recycling this. A little unfortunate that we got such a bad level 4 item. Spiky shield scales with armor, not with melee damage, so there's no use for melee damage, but we'll take this the 60 materials. I'll take 15 luck here as well. And now we can go back to buying baits, so we'll buy 1. Alien Tongue is kind of interesting. For this version of the build, we've ended up with Consumable Heal being really important, so the extra pickup radius could be okay, but I don't think it's that important. I'm also going to pass on the acid. We have 50 HP already. Small fish, that'll help us kill lampreys faster, and then that's bait number 2. Bait number 3, so we're done buying baits. We'll buy the duct tape, and we'll roll here. Roll again. I don't need jelly for 1 HP for 50 materials, is really expensive. Ghost outfit is interesting for this character. So obviously we lose a bunch of base damage on our weapons because we're losing 3 armor, and the negative movement speed is bad, but we're already at 35 dodge, and 70 dodge could be pretty nice. So I think we will buy the ghost outfit here. That means I need to find another speed upgrade, and once again, I forgot and just started running away from the middle, but if you're less dumb than I am, then you won't have that problem. turns out breaking hundreds and hundreds of hours of habit is more difficult than it sounds. So I'll need a speed upgrade to offset the move speed loss that we took by buying the ghost outfit there. I also need to be a little careful here because we don't have that much regeneration. We're kind of reliant on lifesteal and consumable heal at this point for healing against the lampreys. So I do need to be a little careful about the damage I'm taking in these later stages of the wave. Most versions of this build will have more than 4 regeneration at this point, so it won't be as big a deal, but for this one, we need to be careful. Here, I think I'm just going to take 10 more luck. We're still pretty reliant on consumable heal, so boosting our luck to have more fruits drop is good. Keep upgrading our weapons, we'll buy more lifesteal. The ashes we don't want. The range and attack speed are not bad, but losing armor is pretty bad, so we're going to pass on that. That's bait number 2, and then we'll roll here. Bait number 3. Roll one more time. I am hoping to find a level 1 spiky shield at some point to upgrade our level 1 here. I'm going to take the spyglass because the range is okay, and we will get some value out of the rerolls. You tend to reroll more on the Fisherman than on other characters because you have only 3 shop slots. Here, it doesn't really matter if mini-bosses spawn, but you do need to because your damage is super high. But you need to make sure to kill them as they spawn or before they spawn, so just to avoid too many projectiles being on the field at once. But basically, we just chase down those enemies and kill them kind of as they're appearing. And we don't care if those stargazers get buffed at all. Our knockback is plenty sufficient to keep them away from us. Oops. Need to be a little careful about the edge of the map here again, because we're, again, trying to avoid getting too much curse. Oops. Alright, well, we got a point of curse, and this loot alien ran the wrong direction, but now we've got some cursed lampreys spawning. That'll be fine. I'm going to recycle this alien worm. Consumable heal of +4 is most of our healing right now, so we're gonna just take that. We'll keep taking feathers. My XP gain is a little low because of the feathers, but we're up to 40% dodge, or 50% dodge, so that's pretty good. We'll take the mouse here and the recycling machine because we're going into an elite wave, so the recycling machine's fairly likely to pay off. And then I do have some curse already, so we could buy the black flag, but again, we're just going to focus on playing it very safe with this build. No need to buy items like black flag. The mouse we're buying even though it increases enemy spawns because the lifesteal is really good. And again, no, we're not buying any baits this wave because we want to focus on killing the elite quickly. And not have to worry about lampreys spawning. You could maybe buy like 1 bait going into these elite waves if you want to get a little greedier, but you don't need to. And this way, even if your build has ended up a little weaker than we have here, then you would still be able to kill the elite before too many lampreys spawned. So what I'm keeping an eye out for at this point is I need, obviously, more armor and dodge. We'd love to get to our 70 dodge cap that we've boosted it to with the ghost outfit. And I'm also really hoping for a good move speed upgrade before the end of the run. Here, I actually am going to take the ashes. It will cost me 2 armor, but we're going to lose it on just wave 18 and 19, and the damage is mostly pointless. 20% damage when we already have 282. Not that important. But the attack speed is very good, and the range will help us kill elites a little faster. Well, now we really need a move speed upgrade, but we're still going to take that. We'll buy 1 bait here, and roll. Buy a bait, and roll. Buy a bait, and, Gonna roll a little more, because there's a few more items I would like to buy. Anything that I want... I'll buy these. I guess we're gonna keep buying lifesteal. Defective steroids is okay. You can buy it for 2 HP, but we don't need it, so we're going to wave 18 here. This time, I remembered to remain motionless at the start of the wave. So, and you can see how easy it is when you do that. We took almost no damage. So I let one of these mini-bosses spawn, so I'm going to run after it and kill it quickly to avoid having too many of them on the field. If you let those guys stack up, it can be a lot to dodge. Just too many projectiles. When in combination with the lamprey projectiles, especially. So you just want to be careful about letting too many of those spawn. We could buy sunglasses here. It would reduce, again, our armor and base damage, but the crit chance is pretty good for fighting elites, but let's play it safe. We'll just recycle items that we don't need, and I really want more dodge, but I think I have to buy some movement speed. Minus whatever we had, 9 million or approximately, is just too difficult to fight elites with, so we're going to avoid that. And then again, 1, 2 baits. We'll buy a small fish there. 3 baits. I guess we've got no regen. We're just all lifesteal this wave, which is kind of funny. Or this run, which is kind of funny. Tentacle is actually pretty good if you've built even a little crit chance, because you're going to be getting a lot of kills. And then we'll buy Spiky Shield and another Tentacle, and we'll roll here, and we'll lock a helmet, and go to wave 19. Alright, 20 waves in, I've remembered how to take my hand off the keyboard. Getting these loot alien kills, and we're one-shotting them because our damage is really high. And I think that this is something that people often just get a little confused about with the Fisherman. Yes, you can get 1,000 baits, you can get 9 million damage. You don't need to, you just need enough damage to win. We'll take the garden here, and I think I'm going to take the movement speed over the regen. And here, we're not buying baits, because we're going into the boss wave. So we'll buy the butterfly, we'll roll here, and I'll take 5 more max HP. I think that's going to be better than most of the other things that we would pick up at this point. And then, sure, level 4 Spiky Shield is a great upgrade as well. We'll go ahead and do another reroll here, and then we will go to wave 20. And you can see this is roughly the stats that you'll end up with. You'll have 44 baits. You're going to end up with a bunch of high armor and reasonable dodge. We didn't quite manage to get to really high dodge, but 50% should be plenty for killing the bosses. And you just want some attack speed, but other than that, you just want defensive stats. In this case, what showed up in the shop was lifesteal rather than regeneration. That's slightly unusual. Usually you're going to end up with regen, but here we have lifesteal instead. And then we're going to go ahead and just run at the bosses. Thanks to our super high damage from buying 50 bait, we're going to be able to kill them really fast without taking too much damage in return. This wave is a little harder because it is harder to kill the bosses without any lampreys spawning, and you can see they are starting to show up at this point, but there aren't so many because we've only bought sub 50 baits. There aren't so many that we just get overwhelmed, and our damage is so high and our defensive stats are so good that we're able to kill them very easily. So taking a look at our items here, you can see it was just a very clean win. We never were in any real danger except when I really messed up in wave 1. But other than that, it was just very smooth the entire way through. We ended up with 44 bait. 3 trees were nice. We got a lot of crates out of that. We're just buying armor and healing items basically the entire way through. Got 345 materials off our bag, so pretty good from the bag. 40 fruits from the fruit basket is great. The 177 materials saved from coupon. Only 58 healing from adrenaline, but that's still obviously very good for us. And 35 from the cute monkey, so doing pretty well on that as well. We ended up saving 107 on the spyglass, so it was not great. But the extra range was okay, especially before we got the ashes. And usually you don't want to buy range, but when it's kind of free with the spyglass, it can be okay. 18 healing with the tentacle, so just very straightforward itemization for this build. Stand still in the middle, do as I say, not as I do, and just let the invulnerability frames carry you through what the lampreys are doing. And then you'll just never be in any danger. So I hope that this helps you if you're looking for a very straightforward way to get a win with the Fisherman. As always, of course, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a comment and hit like. Helps me out with the algorithm, so I appreciate you taking the time to do that. And of course, you can subscribe to my channel for more Brotato and other strategy game analysis. Cheers, folks. I'll catch you next time.